Cocktails. I'm your host, Derek Schomer. Today we are doing something crazy. We're getting our coffee on. No, we're not really doing anything crazy. We're reviewing. This is a Kahlua pumpkin spice. So, it's coffee liqueur. It's Kahlua. Everybody, I think, at this point is established with the Kahlua brand. Everybody knows what Kahlua is. Kahlua is by far the biggest brand in coffee liqueur ever. More than likely, if you've been to a bar and you've got something with coffee liqueur, you've been to an Italian restaurant that wasn't using Bailey's specifically for their coffee, or you just needed something that had the coffee flavor. Typically, Kahlua is going to be the brand. I like Capali, I like Cabora, I really like Capali. It's got like a little maple syrup thing. But that's besides the point. Today, we're focused on Kahlua. There's a whole bunch of different brands. This is their seasonal. I think it's fairly new. It says limited edition, so no doubt that's going to be in the title. Those seem to get me the most views right now. And it's limited, so let's do it. Rum and coffee liqueur. That is pretty much the Kahlua deal. Most companies that have a coffee liqueur are using a rum as its base. So the fancy thing about the pumpkin spice is it's not the only one. There's peppermint spice, I have that. I also found out I have cinnamon spice. Who knew? These are all things I've purchased in the last few years. Peppermint spice came from us through their PR agency. I didn't have time to contact them about the pumpkin spice this year. Normally they contact me, but they dropped the ball. Sorry, Kahlua. I had to go out and buy it. So if you wish to reimburse me the whatever amount of money these things are, $20 I'm guessing, maybe less, 14, I don't know. I'll put it in it's down there. Go right ahead. So we're going to check the pumpkin spice, but we're going to do it in a couple ways. We're going to test it against coffee. So we're going to put it in coffee right here. I have my coffee sample. I have a coffee that's pumpkin spice coffee from, I want to say Newman's Own, but it may be Dunkin'. I think it's Dunkin'. Whatever. It's pumpkin spice coffee. Traditional pumpkin spice coffee, flavored coffee that you could buy at the store today. Then I have just breakfast blend, just a normal blend of coffee, light roast, both with K-cups, both with the same amount of cream, one with an ounce of Kahlua pumpkin spice, and one with just pumpkin spice and sugar. Now, why didn't I put sugar in this one? This one right here. Oh, my old dot/slash cup. If you're a geek, tell me what that means. So the reason was I made one with sugar and the Kahlua. It's just way too sweet. It was not a coffee I'd want to drink, and I like coffee with a little sugar and cream. So there you go. Here is our blend of pumpkin spice. Here is the non-pumpkin spice. There is a definite color difference. The pumpkin spice is lighter, more of a brown. It's still kind of got the black, but a little bit more brown. Smells like pumpkin spice. I'm going to compare it to the coffee smell. Coffee's got a little more roast to it. So the pumpkin spice version of coffee doesn't really have a lot of aroma. The aroma from Unreal pumpkin spice coffee is definitely more predominant, but not after you've had this. The smell. Pumpkin. I don't really know what a pumpkin spice is. I don't know if there's really any pumpkin in pumpkin spice, but a few things. Cinnamon, brown sugar, a little bit of coffee roast. It just has a defined pumpkin-y quality to it. The pumpkin spice quality that you get from everything else labeled with pumpkin spice this time of year. Syrup, thick, sweet like sugar. No, sweet like heavy cream. That makes sense. A little different than sugar per se. A little thicker body to it. A little more everything. It's just a syrupy sweetness. Condensed milk comes to mind as not that syrupy, but that flavor of intense sugar. When I make avocado shakes, I use condensed milk instead of sugar. Although I do use a little sugar too. Sugar has a little more sharp sweetness. The condensed milk is a little more overall coating of sweetness, a little loveliness. Definitely get the pumpkin-y spice. This is like, if you're into sweet sippers, ooh, this will work for you. It is 20% ABV. Standard is, I think it's about the same, 20% ABV. So no extra or lacking thereof the standard amount of alcohol. Definitely sweet. I think condensed milk with maybe I'm going to go condensed milk cinnamon, definite brown sugar stickiness, and then some herbal, maybe a little clove, just a little bit, not intense on the clove, but that type of spice angle. If you understand pumpkin spice and you added condensed milk to it, boom, you have yourself the Kahlua pumpkin spice. Now, to compare it against the standard brand, right off, the smell, the aroma that comes in is that of roasted bean. I think coffee liqueur immediately. With the Kahlua rum and coffee liqueur, I'm getting more intense sugary sweetness. Not getting a lot of coffee, actually. Think about that. Everything I came out with notes, none of it had coffee. Condensed cream, spices, all that stuff, nutmegs, cinnamons, cloves, all the cool things to the spice rack that you realize when you put them all together in something, it usually makes it taste bad. Like food. You don't put all that into food. You just be like, whoa. But in this type of environment, mulled wine, something like that, fall seasonals for beers, you tend to get a little bit of that strikiness, but they try and keep it more subtle. This is still as syrup and thick as the pumpkin spice in terms of overall mouth weight. And even overall stickiness factor is right up there. So there's sugar in here, but it has more coffee flavor. Honestly, when I taste this, the aftertaste reminds me of if I were to take a filter, coffee filter, dump out the beans. Hell, dump out the whole filter, leave that plastic housing, and you smell the plastic housing, and it has that, not stale, but very muted, yet tannic or tart or something, bite type of coffee to it, that like strong, whoa, there was coffee present in here, but it's not like eating a ground piece of coffee, which is definitely a little more power to it. Now, I'm going to go with the alcoholic version of the pumpkin spice. This is an ounce of pumpkin spice rum in it, or Kahlua rum coffee. First, the most defining characteristic. This is on a large setting. By the way, the Keurig. When you just hit large coffee, what the hell? It fills it like to here. Like, that's not large. This is a standard cup of coffee. I have to push that thing like 5 times because I put them in my Cthulhu Tiki mug. Do I have any in here? No, I don't have any Cthulhu's here. Sold out. And I sold out. Can you believe it? So there's definitely a striking heat, alcohol power. When you drink, at least for me, and you guys can write below if you believe this is true for you or not, but when I have coffee and alcohol, the heat tends to bring that alcohol forward more than just the flavor. So you're getting a little bit of spicy flavor, but it works as a sweetening agent where you don't need pumpkin spice sugar. I don't think they make that thing. They do have pumpkin spice creamers. Now, if you get like the coffee mate creamers, those things are huge intense on sweetness, and nothing in them is really good. I think using Kahlua pumpkin spice as a replacement to that creamer is probably better for you. That stuff is crazy. They sent me some a couple years ago, and it's sweet, it's intense. I couldn't even, only a little bit, so I ended up with this big bottle of this coffee mate, and I only need a little bit to get the coffee sweet, and it turns white, and it's kind of crazy. Even after drinking this stuff straight, this has more alcohol notes than drinking it straight. The sweetness has been dissipated across the coffee. The coffee comes back out, so you definitely are getting your coffee flavor from this, your fresher roast flavor, and muted cinnamon and pumpkin spice notes. Definitely subtle. If you needed to go higher to get the subtlety out, like if you wanted to really get more of that sweet pumpkin spice action, you're going to need like 2 ounces. And at that point, I think the alcohol is going to be so intense that it might get a little crazy. This is pumpkin spice coffee. With the pumpkin spice coffee, a little bit of sugar, like a half teaspoon or whatever. The sugar is balanced to my liking. So, of course, that'll be different for everybody. But I try to balance the sugar and sweetness ratio out of both. And they both pretty much do have that same type of sweet. But there is definitely a little distinct sugar sweetness to this, as opposed to this one, which may even have more condensed milk style sweetness, where it's an overall sweet. With this, you get that sweet taste, almost like the start and finish sweet taste. Very similar to the differences between artificial sweetener and a real sweetener. If I put Splenda in a drink, sure, it sweetens it up, but the sweetness is just different, right? I think most people can agree. You can tell a different sweet still, but a different sweet between Splenda and regular sugar. I think you get that same style of difference play between these two. The pumpkin spice coffee is definitely more pumpkin spice center focus. You get more of a pumpkin spice. It's not distracted by the alcohol. So overall, I think as a coffee pumpkin spice additive or flavor, the Kahlua is not going to do it justice. It does not bring that same holiday fall intensity that I get from a pumpkin spice coffee that, by adding in what they have here. That's not to say straight I don't get it, and that's not to say putting this in a White Russian, putting this in any drink that calls for 1 or 2 ounces of Kahlua to begin with isn't going to bring pumpkin spice action because it's more inherent in the product already. So you're looking at something that doesn't have any of those notes at all, and you're just bringing that entire coffee experience with the pumpkin spice and the sweetness. If you make a White Russian, and you're a heavy cream maker of your White Russians, pull back, dude. This is sweet. This is a lot sweeter than the standard average fare. That means where some people use cream for their White Russians to add, I'm guessing, the sweetness, the thickness, and the overall robustness of the drink, you're going to probably be blown through the roof, unless you're a huge sweet tooth, by adding this along with cream. I would say tail that sucker back. Go with like a 2% milk. Do something to pull back the sweetness on that end, because this is going to bring it too. So remember that. Now, I did this with the vanilla offering for Kahlua when I was making the drink that'll come up next week. You can check our Facebook page, facebook.com/cocktailtv, if you want to see the recipe I invented. It's a House Stark Winter is Coming recipe, and it has the horchata rum is using Velvet Sin with a mixture of Jägermeister spice as the base, and layer under it is a shot, has Kahlua. I wanted that Kahlua, that neat cream, all the holiday appeal, so I thought maybe French vanilla would work. Pumpkin spice I thought would just confuse it because you've already got Jägermeister spice. So I thought bringing the vanilla would be good, but it's just too sweet. Same problem, different product. I think when you move out of the standard line of Kahlua from the Especial and the original to one of the flavorings, you're going to want to tailor back the other sweet factors of your cocktails because it's just too crazy. Same problem with adding sugar. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a broad idea of what you could do with this stuff. Personally, for me, I'm really thinking, and this is not my style, but I'm really thinking a glass like this, a cube of ice or 2, fill it about to here with the Kahlua, I'm good for the night. It's not going to get you in some trouble. You're not going to get super drunk. It's definitely going to bring sweet, so it's going to take you a while to consume it, I hope. If not, you have a problem, my friend. And just relax with that as a holiday, fall, enjoying beverage, as opposed to getting all crazy and mixing it up. I wouldn't even put it into coffee myself because it just gets lost and it's not bringing out enough qualities. The aroma goes away, the alcohol comes really fast out. So something to think about when you're making your holiday recipes this year, where you might substitute it and where you might avoid it. We're done. Question of the day: what is your favorite holiday spice? Is it cinnamon, nutmeg, clove? Which one do you like, and is there a pairing that you want in a cocktail? Peter was making a cocktail, one of our fans from Spirits Cocktail was making a cocktail, and he was like, what do I use for clove? He's working on a clove forward flavor. For that, bitters, my friend. Hella Bitters Standard Aromatics have a huge clove forward. I don't know of any other drink. There's probably 1 or 2 spirits that might have clove that I can't remember, but definitely bring the clove for those that like it. You want Hella Bitters Aromatics. Of course, there's someplace back there, so you can buy from us. That's it. Question of the day: what's your favorite spice for the holidays, for the fall season? If you guys don't have fall, I hate you because I love summertime. Unless you live in Antarctica, in which case I'm sorry, I feel sorry for you. Or any place really cold. Cold sucks. We're done. EverydayDrinkers.com. Kahlua Pumpkin Spice. I bought this myself, so I'm not even going to bother to tell you I did a free review, because I did not. We're teaching you how to drink.